Good morning and welcome to Fitch Painting Repairs Garage. Today's project, this is the second barn find bike that we've got here recently. This is also a Triumph 650 Bonneville setup. This one's definitely a Bonneville motor. This one is a 1967 Triumph motor. It's on a reconstruction custom frame, and the frame numbers were 1976. So this bike was probably put together somewhat in this configuration in 1976. She's a very interesting machine. She's missing a few parts. Left side controls over here. I'm missing the foot peg, the brake assembly arm, the actuating arm, control rod. So I believe, yeah, we got the arm back here, but we're missing the pin and all that. So this is just zip tied on. Somebody was in the process of working on this or upgrading it or doing something to it. Somebody has changed the carburetors on it. I believe this one might have been set up with the single carburetor setup, which I have in a bucket, and so I have the original ammo carburetor for that. So it's got a 2-in-1 header setup on it. She's dented up, beat up a little bit. So got an oil cooler set up on it. But all the electrical has been cut. So we're going to have to go through, figure out the electrical on it. This tank's not mounted. It's not hooked up. It doesn't appear that these carbs ever have been hooked up. I don't know. So the front end, not in the best of shape. It's a little bit pitted here and there. But overall, the motorcycle's not too bad a shape. Not too bad. I'm gonna have to hook up everything. Brake lights. I don't know what this is. Some kind of ground. Who knows? But it's got a updated coil package in there. 3-wire charging. And so we're gonna go through it. See if we can't get this engine to fire up. She's pretty barn fresh and crusty. She was sitting side by side with that one. And now that one had, this tank was on this bike, and that tank was sitting on the shelf, and that one had a color matching reproduction Sportster style tank on it with the bottom all cracked, and it was leaking really bad. So we put that one on there because it's holding fuel, and we're thinking we're gonna probably leave that one on there if we can get this running. But here's the big dilemma in here. Oh my. We're gonna go through and clean the connections, see if any of this stuff is working. There's a coil tucked up in there, those condensers, and so it's got these real long, they look old, very old. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't. But we're gonna go through, pull that apart, and see what's going on inside all that. We gotta build a cover for this side. It was missing. So the exhaust pipes aren't properly hooked up. That left side one wasn't even on. I quickly wired them up so that they wouldn't fall off or break the spigots. But we're gonna have to go through, clean this one up as well. But let's see if we can't get her to fire up. that's the plan. That's the project. This one over here, definitely a good runner. Fires up, runs pretty good. Got her to where she kickstarts and fires fairly easily. I pulled the carbs down, cleaned them out. So, but ethanol fuels are horrible on these machines. So, got the exhaust pipes replaced. Build a little quick bracket to keep them from falling off. That's a lot of weight shaking and bouncing around. They wouldn't stay tight. They kept coming loose. So we're gonna tuck it in there, out of the way, so you won't hit them with that kicker arm. It's kind of in the way of the foot stand, the kickstand. But so what I got to figure out now is I got this front end on this one with that brake set up, and this one looks a little different. So we're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do with this front brake setup. So, but for right now, I'll have to look into the brake arm and control. If I can get this one fired up, and I haven't bought all that stuff, I can just pull it off of that one to test this one. And but that one over there is gonna be for sale. Definitely gonna be for sale. I want somebody to enjoy this machine who loves these bikes and will continually ride it. It's a fairly low mileage machine if it is correct, and the speedometer does work. Tachometer doesn't have a cable in there. There we go. 25,921. And I put 5.5 miles on it since I got her running. Just riding it around my little neighborhood and whatnot. She doesn't have a tag on it. Well, she does have a tag, but it's out of date and it's not registered in my name. And I just got the titles back in the mail, so that's all clear and good. This one, titled as a 1963. She's a 1963 bobber. She's a frame title. The engine on it is a 1966, but that engine is a rare one. That one come out of a TR6 SS. So anybody out there knows these rebuilds and knows what I'm talking about. Lowest production. I think they only built like 83 of those for that year. So that motor is considered a little rare. So, but the bike itself is a 1963. I've got the tanks. I got the little tiny peanut tank and I've got the bigger one. This one here was a British bike. It was imported. Somebody brought that over. This one over here, total American one. That one's a TR6 SS. That one is a Triumph Trophy 650 Street Scrambler, otherwise known as the Desert Sled. So that one there is a good street runner. Everything works on it. She can be ridden on the road. She does not have turn signals. She's got a headlight, tail light, brake light. She needs new tires put on it. Brakes are good on it. Clutch is good on it. Carburetors have been gone through and cleaned. They're very super simple. She kick starts with just a couple kick starts, and after a little bit of running, getting them points dialed in and tuned, to maybe adjust the timing, the tappets. You know, we'll have to look into all that stuff. We're going to keep it for a while and ride it. I'm definitely going to ride it. I'm going to go get a tag for it here pretty soon so I can ride it on the road. I'll have to replace them tires, but I want to make sure she's not overheating or anything like that. You know, everything's going good. Get them carburetors dialed in really good. Twin carburetor setup to adjust the idles a little bit, kind of a pain in the butt, and to balance them. So I'll have to just ride the bike for a little bit, get used to it, and listen to it. The motor sounds really good. Now this one over here, I rolled it over with the Kickstarter a couple times. Oh, she's on compression, I think, right now. So, yep, she's right on the compression, but she rolls over, definitely. So, all right, stay tuned.